Please join our YouTube community and subscribe today. Chief, our technical staff are not as good as those at Xishan base, but there is nothing we can do about it. In terms of weapons research and development, professionals are not among the people the specs guy laments, highlighting their limitations. When the future comes, talents are snatched away by them. We can only select talents from universities and research institutes in nearby areas, he adds, expressing their struggle to compete. Zhao Honglian reflects on the constant threat posed by escaping slaves, questioning the sincerity of other factions' promises of salvation. If these damn slaves weren't always trying to escape, why would I put so much effort into them, she grumbles, her frustration evident. Zhao Honglian questions that hypocritical woman from Baekshu cult was just using them as bait. Do they really think there will be a holy mother in the last days? Specs guy assures, as long as we can cut off a piece of fat on the territory of Xishan base, we can relieve the current pressure. As they discuss strategies to assert dominance over neighboring territories, Zhao Honglian emphasizes the importance of stability and control. If you want to occupy Lujiang district and Xishan district, you must first stabilize the rear. Let the people in the technical department speed up research and stabilize the function of this explosive collar, she commands, her tone firm. Zhao Honglian orders safety can be put aside for now, but make sure it can explode. Specs guy assures he understood the assignment. Zhao Honglian asks how many of the vanguard troops sent out in the past few days have returned. Specs guy reply basically, they all came back, and even if they haven't responded yet, they still gave us a report. Except for the plateau team. No one has come back yet, and there is no news back. Zhao Honglian in her mind, this guy, it's okay if no one in the base is convinced. He's still rebellious at such an old age. Zhao Honglian raises her concern he shouldn't be in any danger, right? Analyzing the current situation, specs guy report currently, none of the 5 major forces in Tianhai City dare to start a war. Even if we are facing those bastards from the snow worship cult who go around trying to recruit people into their religion, we don't want to have a big conflict. Therefore, even if Gao Yuan meets people from other forces, the other party should give him face. Unless. Her face was taut with tension. What they are competing for is a particularly precious resource. Only then can the other party break the tacit understanding and attack. Zhao Honglian remarks all major resource points in Tianhai City are occupied by our major forces. The remaining resources are certainly important, but they are not enough to trigger a full-scale conflict. Zhao Honglian giving it a thought, I am more assured that other forces will not offend me. I will not offend anyone except the snow worship sect. A soldier comes out running towards them, informing leader. We found no trace of Captain Plateau or anyone else. They even disappeared with people in cars. What she exclaims, her shock palpable. No matter how arrogant Gao Yuan is, he would not dare to disobey my orders and cut off the connection with the base to go elsewhere without permission. Something must have happened. She raises her concern. Zhao Honglian questions, is there a way to find out their location? There is also a satellite phone in the car that should have a positioning device. Soldier respond, this is the most puzzling part. We couldn't find the positioning signal. We couldn't find the positioning signal at all, and they seemed to disappear out of thin air in this way. The other party came prepared. Zhao Honglian suddenly had the realization that something was wrong. The thought just hit her mind. They are definitely not making a sudden move, but have long wanted to launch an attack on our Yangqing base. Is the disappearance of Gao Yuan just a signal for war? Realizing the gravity of the situation, Zhao Honglian scrambles to uncover the truth behind the disappearance, suspecting foul play. Sheo base, Kinpei base, or worshipping snow cult. Who is it? Is it the remnants of the Xishan base? She ponders, her mind racing with possibilities. Specs guy advises, I think the location of the incident is closest to Shao base. Why don't we contact them first and see what they say? In a desperate bid for answers, Zhao Honglian reaches out to Wei Dinghai of Chao base, hoping to uncover the truth behind Gao Yuan's disappearance. Wei Dinghai, my cousin Gao Yuan disappeared from the Hung Yuan Group factory in Lujiang district. Do you know about this? She inquires, her voice tinged with urgency. At the beginning of this chapter, we can see Chio base. Tensions escalate as Zhao Honglian and Wei Dinghai of Cao base discuss the mysterious disappearances plaguing their territories. You went very quickly. But I can tell you that this matter has nothing to do with our Chio base, Wei Dinghai asserts, his tone defensive. Wei Dinghai exclaims, so we also have someone missing. Xiao Honglian presses for answers, realizing the gravity of the situation. So we also have someone missing. There are so few foreigners in Tianhai City. Even if there are foreigners living outside, it is difficult to compete with well-trained warriors. So I also want to ask you guys if it was not you who did it. She challenges, seeking clarity amidst uncertainty. Acknowledging their shared loss, Xiao Honglian narrows down the possible suspects, focusing on the snow worship cult as the likely perpetrators. In the entire Tianhai City, there are not many people who have the strength to take action against both of us at the same time. The Blacksmith King Pei base doesn't like fighting and have no reasons to start over war with us. It could only be someone from the snow worship cult who did it. She deduces, her intuition sharp. Wei Dinghai agrees with the Xiao Honglian speculation. Wei Dinghai with firm voice exclaim, Wang Ruxuan is my confident and favorite general. If those guys from the Beigshu sect dare to kill him, I will make them pay 10 times more the price. Xiao Honglian see this as an opportunity to crush snow worship cult. As they plot their retaliation, the scene shifts to Zhang Yi overseeing the fortification of their shelter. When the time comes, you can connect to the computers and directly control this weapons while sitting in the shelter. It will be a perfect fortress, he strategizes, his vision for defense clear. Meanwhile, Karine updates Zhang Yi on the completion of the shelter's outer walls, earning praise for their efforts. Awesome, Zhang Yi acknowledges, his approval evident. Scene shift to inside the shelter, where everyone is having dinner together. Teacher Liang asks Zhang Yi for food. Zhang Yi, I am going to deliver some food to the students. Zhang Yi opens the dimensional gate and takes out the food for students. Teacher Liang, why don't you look so good? Did they say bad things to you again? Shinshin inquires. This time they went too far. I even think, Teacher Liang, you should stop caring about them. Teacher Liang did not do anything wrong. It was all them who were wrong. Even if something happened to them, you have no responsibility. Shinshin sympathizing with Teacher Liang. As Teacher Liang grapples with guilt and responsibility, Zhang Yi reflects on his role in their tumultuous journey. Scene shift to the training room. Zhang Yi and Teacher Liang discuss the safety of the students, navigating the delicate balance between caution and tranquility. If you truly believe there is danger nearby, we can discuss moving those students closer to a shelter, Zhang Yi suggests. Teacher Liang remarks it's better not to do this for the time being. I talked a lot with Shinshin and Karine. The experience at Tianqing Academy hurts them a lot, and I am also responsible for this. After all, everyone is living peacefully now, and nothing dangerous has happened. There is really no need to be so nervous. Acknowledging the changes in Teacher Liang, he replied, it would be great if you could have this mentality. I should also learn from you. Don't be in panic all day, as tomorrow is full of hope, right? Teacher Liang with a little smile on her face. It's rare that these words can come out of your mouth. Beginning of this chapter, we find Teacher Liang and Zhang Yi in the training room, gearing up for another martial arts lesson. So let's start today's martial arts lesson, shall we? Teacher Liang announces. What are we practicing today? Zhang Yi inquires. You learn martial arts to deal with sudden close combat, so grappling jiu-jitsu will work great for you. Today we'll start with Brazilian jiu-jitsu, Teacher Liang responds. As they both engage in grappling, Zhang Yi suddenly feels overwhelmed. No, I can't do it anymore. I surrender, he exclaims. Zhang Yi notices a shift in her demeanor since arriving at the shelter. Only those who have desires and demands can easily guide them and then completely turn them into my chess piece in the game, Zhang Yi reflects. Later, lying on his bed, Zhang Yi devises intricate schemes. If I put the confiscated satellite phones in the houses where students live in Shu Town, people from Yangshan base will be able to find them, and they will naturally take action for me. But maybe people from Yangshan base or even KOU base will be attracted here in advance. How to choose, he muses, weighing his options carefully. In a moment of fantasy, Zhang Yi imagines a life free from the burdens of past actions. Is there a possibility that the people in the two bases have never discovered that I killed their people, he wonders. Yet reality soon sets in Zhang Yi. What a beautiful thought. There is no such thing as such a good thing. People can't help themselves in the world. Tolerance and retreat cannot bring peace. Then I will fight to create a bright future. As long as I fight them within the established defense line, who can threaten me? It's decided, even if you beat me to death, I won't leave even half a step outside the defense line, Zhang Yi declares firmly. Zhang Yihai hands over the radio transmitter to Flower, instructing him to deliver it to the students in Shu Town, a pivotal move in his strategic game. Meanwhile, in a large church, a mysterious figure known as Master addresses a gathering of devoted followers, each hanging on her every word. Snow in the sky, everything on the ground, our bodies were born on the earth, she proclaims, invoking a sense of reverence among the crowd. Responding in unison, the congregation chants, "Our souls come from heaven, the sun and moon illuminate our bodies, pure white snow washes our souls," affirming their faith in the snow worship cult. With a gesture of power, the master performs a miraculous act, restoring a child to consciousness, eliciting awe and admiration from the onlookers. Praise the great snow god, praise his majesty the great snow god's human body leader Yuan Kongyi, the leader of the snow worship cult, exclaims, reinforcing their devotion to their deity. In the midst of the chaos, a loyal follower urges Yuan to rest, emphasizing the urgency of her well-being before the planned gift ceremony. Yet, undeterred, Yuan Kongyi persists in her duties, determined to see the task through despite the looming danger. Abruptly, the tranquility is shattered by the distant rumble of explosions, prompting fear to grip the hearts of all cult followers within the sanctuary. Swift commands from a soldier cut through the panic, directing Tong Zhan and Dai Mei to shield their leader, while rallying the remaining followers to confront the threat outside. With fervent prayers to the snow god, Yuan Kongyi seeks divine protection for her followers amidst the escalating violence. Even as battle looms, some cult followers continue the gift ceremony, unwavering in their dedication despite the imminent danger. Outside, the church becomes a battleground as hostile forces unleash a barrage of gunfire upon the sacred sanctuary. Determined to defend their home at all costs, cult members steel themselves against the onslaught, refusing to yield to the invaders' aggression. Cult follower command, withstand. You must withstand it. I can't let them destroy my home. In a desperate act of self-sacrifice, a follower armed with explosives advances toward the enemy, willing to lay down their life to protect their beliefs. Amidst the chaos, Xiao Honglian, fueled by righteous indignation, condemns the cult's influence. His damn cult has actually brainwashed its members into monsters who are not even afraid of death. It really should be eradicated. With unwavering resolve, Xiao Honglian issues orders to her soldiers, commanding them to seize Yuan Kongyi and dismantle the cult's stronghold. Seeing the priests coming towards them, the soldiers attack them. Xin Yu opens the protection barrier. As the soldiers clash with the cult's defenders, Xin Yu, a voice of reason, questions the escalation of violence. "You too, are you going to tear up the peace agreement?" Xiao Honglian responds to tear up the peace agreement. "You are the first to take action, right?" But Xiao Honglian's fury knows no bounds as she unleashes her fiery wrath upon the priests. As tensions escalate, Zheng Yi steps forward, taking charge in an attempt to defuse the volatile situation and protect everyone from Xiao Honglian's aggression. Is there any misunderstanding, Xin Yu queries, seeking to uncover the root of the conflict and prevent further bloodshed. However, Xiao Honglian's resolve remains unyielding as she commands her forces with chilling determination, her words dripping with malice. In response to the looming threat, Wei Dinghai conclude, "Now that we are here, we must give you a heavy blow. Fight back. No matter what, don't let them get close to the church," Xin Yu orders, rallying her allies to defend their sanctuary at all costs. As explosions rock the battlefield, Wei Dinghai taps into his formidable powers, transforming into an ice soldier and unleashing a barrage of frozen projectiles. In the name of the snow god, grant them heavenly punishment. Xin Yu invokes divine retribution, channeling the power of their faith to vanquish their foes. With a fierce battle cry, soldiers charge forth, their determination unshakable as they confront the enemy head-on. Destroy all enemies of the snow worship cult. Kill them one by one. Wei Dinghai, astonished by the cult's fervor, questions their sanity as they willingly sacrifice themselves in explosive acts of defiance. Many people had converted themselves into humanoid bombs and exploded in the midst of the enemy. Amidst the chaos, fear grips the hearts of the opposing soldiers. These snow worshippers are all lunatics. They will attack at the risk of their lives, so be careful. Xiao Honglian's contempt for the cult intensifies, condemning their teachings and the followers who blindly sacrifice themselves in its name. With a strategic shift, Xiao Honglian focuses her attention on Jin Yu, recognizing her as a pivotal figure to neutralize in their quest for victory. Capture the thief first and capture the king. Wei Dinghai, let's cooperate and take down Zheng Yi first, Xiao Honglian proposes. Wei Dinghai acknowledges the plan, aligning himself with Xiao Honglian's goal of subduing Jin Yu. With a display of raw power, Xiao Honglian unleashes her full strength, her attacks aimed squarely at Jin Yu, who watches in awe of her adversary's prowess. Wei Dinghai seizes an opportunity, grabbing Jin Yu's leg and providing an opening for Xiao Honglian to deliver a devastating blow. A colossal snowstorm erupted suddenly, shaking everything within a radius of 100 meters, accompanied by a surge of fear. After the turmoil subsided, Jini Sin remained upright, desperately catching her breath. The peril facing Xiao Honglian and Wei Dinghai was dire. Clearly dissatisfied with their failed joint assault, they lamented their inability to slay Jini Sin, a regrettable outcome despite their proximity. As it happened, during the pivotal moment, his followers disentangled themselves and hurried to shield him, absorbing a considerable amount of damage. However, this failure revealed their abilities to their adversaries, who would now prepare accordingly, diminishing the likelihood of a similar opportunity arising in the future. In the heat of battle, the ranks of the Snow Worship sect's followers swelled, their eyes ablaze with madness. With knives, staves, and even frying pans in hand, they charged recklessly, displaying a frightening disregard for their own lives. Even the most seasoned soldiers were unnerved by their ferocity. It seemed they were not merely unafraid of death, some appeared to embrace it willingly. This relentless onslaught, where they were willing to sacrifice 10 or even 20 lives for just one of ours, threatened to persist unabated. Should they emerge victorious, it would amount to a Pyrrhic triumph, considering the sheer numerical superiority of the Snow Worship sect's followers. Xiao Honglian and Wei Dinghai both grasped the gravity of the situation. This unconventional style of combat caught them off guard. Typically, they would leverage their military might to strike down a significant portion of the enemy forces, causing the remainder to surrender or scatter. However, facing the relentless hordes of the Snow Worship sect, this usual tactic proved futile. If we persist in this manner, behaving like lunatics, even though victory seems attainable, it will only lead to mutual destruction, a scenario we cannot tolerate. Let's not forget about the formidable Emerald Waterside base to the north. Keeping that in mind, Sia Holi abruptly exclaimed, "My cousin and his dozen men perished. Your Snow Worship sect is the prime suspect. Provide a rational explanation." In addition, my trusted Lieutenant Wang Guishuan met his demise near the West Mountain base. Throughout Heavenly Sea City, there's no other force I can imagine daring to strike at us. If you fail to provide an explanation today, we will obliterate your Snow Worship sect. The priests of the Snow Worship sect, not fools by any means, were initially prepared for a battle to the death. However, they swiftly shifted to negotiation upon witnessing the seriousness of the situation. Amidst the dire circumstances, Han Chong clenched his teeth in frustration. His right hand contorted into a savage claw, seizing a soldier's head and hurling it vehemently toward Xiao Honglian with a glare. He demanded, "What connection do the casualties in your factions have with our Snow Worship sect? Offer some proof." Witnessing the swift dodge, Xiao Honglian retorted mockingly, "Why speak of evidence now, in such dire times? Are you implying I should?" Jini Sin intervened, halting Han Chong, seemingly comprehending the source of their furious assault. "Our Snow Worship sect has consistently upheld peace, honoring our agreements with you. We've never harmed any of your people." Wei Dinghai chuckled in response. "If not you, then who could it be? The Emerald Waterside base wouldn't go to the lengths of venturing to Heron's River to launch an attack against us. I can't conceive of any other faction in Heavenly Sea City that would dare to assault both our factions simultaneously and execute it with such stealth that scarcely any evidence remains." Jini Sin paused, drawing a deep breath. "Have you contemplated that beyond the 4 main bases and the Snow Worship sect, there could be other formidable forces in Heavenly Sea City, perhaps even rivaling our own strength?" Upon hearing this, Xiao Honglian and Wei Dinghai responded in unison. "How could that be, since the apocalypse, the 5 major regions were distinctly divided amongst ourselves, with the exception of the Snow Worship sect, which stands as an anomaly? There are no circumstances elsewhere for a new power to arise. Jini Sin's encounter isn't entirely implausible. Haven't you noticed some notable disturbances in the Heron's River area over the past month?" Upon hearing this, both contemplated for a moment, Among the 4 main bases, the West Mountain Base held the highest strength. However, indeed, there had been reports in the past month. Despite reports from scouts of frequent gunfire, no one believed that the West Mountain Base could have been obliterated by that force. Instead, they attributed the downfall of the West Mountain Base to a perceived offense against the River South Domain. Wei Dinghai snapped back to reality, dismissing any attempts at persuasion. "Smooth talker, don't think a few words will sway our anger. Why should we believe you?" Saya wholly interjected bluntly, pointing directly at Zini Sin. "Unless you have evidence to prove your innocence, we will definitely destroy your snow worship SEC today." Zini Sin's men informed Zhao Honglian and Wei Dinghai that they went to the West Mountain Base that day and encountered your Morning Dew Base's Wang Ruizuan. However, they also encountered 3 individuals behaving suspiciously who could potentially be the perpetrators you seek. Han Chong added. These individuals were dressed in combat uniforms of the West Mountain Base. At that moment, we assumed they were remnants of the West Mountain Base. We had no intention of being entangled in your base conflicts, so we departed. As for what unfolded thereafter, we're unaware. I've only just learned from you about Wang Ruizuan's demise. Wei Dinghai responded with a grave expression. Are you implying there are still remnants of the West Mountain Base lingering around, slowly regaining their strength in secret? Zhao Honglian quickly retorted, that's impossible. Their shelters were destroyed by missiles and all their supplies, and resources were buried underground. What chance do they have to regain their strength? Furthermore, even if there were any survivors, they would likely be in hiding, not bold enough to attack both of our factions at once. Zhao Honglian shrugged and chuckled, not now, and not ever in the past. I don't think Chinchinian had the guts. Zini Sin then said solemnly, is there a possibility that the recent disturbances in the Herons River area resulted in West Mountain Base being defeated? We don't know about that force, and they don't know about us either. That's why they could dare to act so boldly. Zhao Honglian and Wei Dinghai found this reasonable, as normally the 5 major powers would balance each other out and none would dare to initiate conflict rashly. Only outsiders would be likely to do something like this. Continuing the fight was no longer viable. None of the 3 factions wished to endure substantial losses, and there was uncertainty about potential unseen adversaries. Zhao Honglian and Wei Dinghai exchanged glances and resolved to return for a thorough investigation. However, they couldn't reveal any hint of weakness, so Zhao Honglian, with an authoritative demeanor, pointed at Zini Sin. Today, you're our target. We will most certainly conduct this investigation. With a defiant retort, Han Chong said, go back home thoroughly. If we find out you're involved, we won't let it slide this time. We'll wipe out your den in one fell swoop. Who's afraid of whom? If we're in the right, we fear no accusations. If you dare to come at us hard again, we'll make sure you don't return on their way back. Wei Dinghai remarked to his companion, I never expected the snow worship sect to grow so rapidly. We need to discuss our next steps carefully. The mesmerizing prowess of the charlatan is unparalleled, drawing in a multitude of devotees. Zhao Honglian scoffed at the deceptive cult leader. Now, even my servants entertain the notion of fleeing to them. It's disheartening to witness so many gullible individuals who cling to the notion of an idyllic afterlife, replete with abundance and perpetual warmth. As the opposing forces converged at the midpoint of their voyage, poised to continue onward, they parted ways. Wei Dinghai exited his vehicle and approached Zhao Honglian. What's your plan from here? Zhao Honglian smiled with significance. We'll certainly pursue this matter until its conclusion. Aren't you doing the same? Wei Dinghai shrugged. I mean, should we keep working together? Our objectives are probably aligned. If there is indeed such a powerful force, it's more hazardous to go it alone. Consider it. Chinchin is already dead and the snow worship sect is greatly weakened today. If we join forces now, wouldn't controlling the entire Heavenly Sea City be as easy as flipping one's hand? Zhao Honglian remained silent, driving away from the scene as Wei Dinghai watched the departing convoy, filled with a sense of both admiration and resignation. This woman is truly formidable, he mused. If only I could bring her down, the entire Heavenly Sea City would be mine. In that instant, his deputy Qin Jingwan approached and voiced her concerns. Boss, I have a lingering feeling that this woman is concealing something from us. Wei Dinghai waved it off. Isn't that glaringly apparent? There are no enduring alliances, only enduring interests. As he spoke, Wei Dinghai's memory stirred. that cryptic text message from earlier might hold more weight than initially thought, especially considering the suspect in the theft case at the southern warehouse suspected to be the warehouse manager Zhang Yi now resides in Ulu District. Whoever was fighting West Mountain Base by Heron's River, it must have been that seemingly insignificant character. We start off at the South China warehouse where Zhao Honglian, the supervisor, just rolled up to the E-room. Her soldiers had detected a phone signal trace near the New River, but their equipment could only give a rough area to search. Zhu Jiang thinks this might be connected to some shady organization, and the delayed signal was probably due to janky weather messing with the tech. But Zhao is suspicious something feels off, even if she can't put her finger on what. With no other options, she decides to send some scouts to reconnoiter the area first before coming up with a full battle plan. Zhu Jiang wants to loop in their superior Wei Dinghai, but Zhao shuts that down. She doesn't want to share this juicy lead with others, thinking the enemy will be too strong right now. However, Zhu Jiang carefully explains they're dealing with a powerful foe who already took out 2 elite fighters. It's a risky move, but Zhao doesn't care. She says this is just the bottom level of the enemy base. She'll investigate first, and if they turn out to be too tough, she can call for backup then. For this mission, she orders Dong Wu to take point, confident his skills are enough to handle it. But she emphasizes this needs to be kept on the super down low from Whiting High, or they'll lose the element of surprise against the enemy. Meanwhile, at the Snow-Sex turf, it's an absolute massacre. The battlefield is painted red with corpses everywhere. Genie Scene narrowly escaped getting iced and is still shook from the enemy's overwhelming power. A crowd of rookie priests gathers around him, worried, but he assures them the head honcho can patch up his arm injury, no sweat. He then orders them to clean up the grisly scene and stash all the bodies in their secret base. But as Genie Sin peels out, the fearless believers suddenly snap out of their trance and get hit with the full force of their injuries, screaming in sheer agony. Nuns come rushing out of the church carrying medical kits, trying to triage the less severely wounded in the crowd. One gravely injured dude suddenly asks if he still has a chance, his voice filled with desperate hope. But the nun just weeps at the horrific scene, not wanting to believe this is real. She approaches the man with a gentle, beautiful gaze and softly says, "It seems you can no longer serve in your human form. Please return to God's kingdom and serve the deity directly." Without giving the guy any chance to respond, she whips out a knife and slashes his throat in one brutal motion. As the life drains from his eyes, the man can only stare at the nun in shock, not comprehending why this is happening to him. He doesn't want to accept that he's about to die. But the nun is totally getting off on it, envying how soon he'll get to serve the Lord apparently. This kind of messed up scene is just standard protocol for their cult, since they've absorbed way too many believers to save with their limited supplies. Instead, they have other plans for the dead. Next to the church is an abandoned building, and they transport all the corpses there. This area is off limits to anyone outside the highest cult ranks, since it holds their most confidential secrets. However, instead of taking the bodies inside, they just leave them piled up behind the door. After the priests quickly leave, green vines suddenly start emerging within the building. Within seconds, they rapidly slither around the corpses. The next moment, the bodies that were right outside the door have vanished into thin air. Then we cut to the interior, and holy hell, it's like a scene ripped straight out of a horror movie. Behind the innocent facade, the cult leader Yuan Kangyi is pure evil, using those human sacrifices as food to cultivate some kind of horrific underground monster. Once this freakish thing blooms, it's going to unleash a bloody storm on the whole city. The building is crawling with green tentacles floating eerily in the air, occasionally snatching people to drain their life force. If anybody was in there, they'd be screaming their head off seeing these green humanoid pods trapped by the mysterious monster, puffing out bursts of sickly red smoke with each feeding. The tentacles then grow these bright red, saliva-inducing apples, enveloping the entire building in a creepy green glow as the priests chant some kind of ritualistic BS from above. Absolutely demented stuff going on here. On the other side, Genie Scene rushes back to the church where the final prayer ceremony is wrapping up. Only 3 innocent little boys remain, completely oblivious to the danger headed their way. Yuan Kangyi flashes them a gentle, disarming smile. but there's an unmistakable malicious glint in her eyes that she quickly masks. These poor believers have no clue about the cult's true sinister nature. The parents are urging their kids to get baptized first, because in their warped minds, only the baptized ones are seen as true children of the church. So one by one, the children are sent up to the altar. Jang Yixian approaches the first boy and gently rests his hand on the kid's head. Too weak to resist, the boy can only watch helplessly as Zhang pulls out a knife, softly saying, "Don't be afraid. I'll help remove the devil inside you." Those words hit the poor child like a bolt of lightning. He wants to fight back, to scream, to run, but his body refuses to obey, paralyzed by sheer terror. In the blink of an eye, Zhang's knife plunges deep into the boy's stomach in a grisly, life-harvesting strike. For a fleeting moment, the searing pain causes the boy to black out. As he fades into unconsciousness, his mind races, why would this seemingly kind big sister do such an evil thing? But Yuan Candy just calmly places her hand over the gaping wound, emanating a golden light that miraculously staunches the bleeding. It doesn't take long for the boy to regain consciousness, but now he seems different. As if a blank slate, docile and obedient, even when faced with his own parents. The other two children look on in sheer horror at this abrupt, disturbing turn of events, their little bodies trembling uncontrollably. Their sole instinct is to flee this hellish nightmare. But as they make a break for the exit, the cult members swiftly cut off their escape, restraining the petrified kids. The more they struggle and resist, the more it will be seen as proof of demonic possession. Yuan Candy's gentle voice rings out through the church, taking on a spine-chilling tone to the children's ears as she prepares to baptize the next victims. Absolutely bone-chilling stuff, fam.
Hey there! This concludes the explanation up to the latest chapter release. Stay tuned for the next chapter breakdown as soon as it's available.